I received this free sample of Cranberry Spice from a tea source, and I was excited to try this, but now I'm not quite so excited. But it was fun experiencing it. You see it says 3 grams of water, 3 grams of tea for 8 ounces of water at 212 for 5 minutes. So we tried to follow this. And so you see the package says 12 grams. So 12 divided by 3 means you get 4 steeps out of it. So you see we're a little over half still in here. Plus I have some in my little tray because, you know, I was using a Guy One and we figured out the Guy One's about 150 milliliters. So we went through all this trouble. We really did. See? So you see 150 milliliters is in the middle of my thingamabobber here. And I'm turning it around, and where it says ounces, you know, right in the middle would be about 5 ounces, I'm guessing. So instead of 8 ounces, my Guy One is about 5 ounces. So we use just a little bit less tea using the Guy One. I guess, you know, I'll be able to steep, you know, maybe 5 or 6 times out of this. And I did steep the first batch 3 times, and you'll see why. So you can see what the wet there looks like. And so that's quite a few steeps out of this little package, and it was a gift. It was free, so that's cool. Here's the color of the liqueur. We wanted a fresh batch, so this is the first tasting of the second batch. And in fact, I haven't tasted this. I need to taste it. Okay, there's that wang again. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, I'm going to tell you about that wang. So, here though is the tea in the dry format. Isn't it lovely? It's so pretty. I really do. I love enjoying it, putting my tea out like this and picking it apart and finding all the pieces. It's fun for me, kind of relaxing. Makes me think about the tea and not about any worries I have in the world. So I picked out some pieces. So you can see here on the left, according to the ingredients, I think that's the raspberry and or blackberry leaves. And the next one is lemongrass. The next one is the cranberry pieces. And look at those whole cloves in here. That's pretty cool. And then I think that this piece might be ginger. I'm not sure about that in the end. There's 2 other ingredients, turmeric and cinnamon. So I think those are probably ground or they're in the natural flavoring. And I did not see those pieces. Look at this piece of grass. Now, I don't know. I thought that was kind of odd to have that in there. That's because this long skinny thing is lemongrass, so that, I don't know, weird. But it is such a pretty lovely tea, and I wanted to like this so much, but unfortunately we'll go to my tasting notes. So here's my tasting notes. This is from Tea Source. Today's date. It's a herbal tea because there's absolutely no tea bush leaves in here. The origin, not really applicable. Processing, all the stuff in it was dried. So that's really not applicable either. So this tisane, it's not really a tea because it doesn't have the real tea bush in it. It's a tisane. It's so pretty and lovely. I love looking at it. It's prettier than the photos I took with my phone. See, the photos I took do not give it justice. But there's your list of ingredients. It does have natural flavoring in it, and I'm not a fan of natural flavoring, as I do not trust that it's natural. They tell me it is when I can't use the word unless it is true. It'd be against the law, but it's still, even if you're using natural ingredients to get the flavoring, you're still processing it somehow so it doesn't look. I guess I'm a whole foods person, which is why I like seeing all the whole foods in the tea. I'm not against consuming it in moderation if it tastes good. I mean, I have been having artificial vanilla in my foods and cookies and things my entire life, so I don't think it's going to kill me. But I don't know why, I just have a thing about it. I try to get my tea to be all natural ingredients, all real ingredients, natural, you know what I mean. I like that I can see and identify the pieces. We've already went through that. I was surprised to see that it said to steep at 212, which is boiling, for 5 minutes. But we set the timer and we followed the directions. For herbal, I usually steep it around 190 for about 2 minutes. So 5 minutes seemed really long. And I had a cheat sheet. I looked at it and it did say boiling. And it said 2 to 3 minutes, not 5. So, but we followed directions. There's the color, and I wondered if that came from the turmeric that's in it. The smell, the aroma is very strong in the dry package. I had to smell for quite a long time trying to identify what I was smelling. And I did smell the cranberry, and I believe I smelled the clove, because obviously there's clove in the package because we have whole cloves. I might have smelled the ginger. I did not smell cinnamon, but hubby said he did. I mean, we even went to our spice jars and got them out. And we smelled the spice jar, and then we smelled the tea. And I tried to pick it out of the smell, which was fun doing. I do crazy things for entertainment. The wet was similarly strong, and there was even the same strong scent in the very small tasting cup. And it smells like a good candle or wax melt for Christmas. Sometimes I think these teas, we're trying to get these smells so that we can sit with our hands cupped, snuggling the cup and smelling it. And sometimes I don't know. I don't know, I used to like to do that, but I'm kind of like, just give me the tea smell and I'll burn a candle. The body, I couldn't decide what the body was, so I chose medium because it does seem to have some consistency to it. Astringency, I had trouble with this one too. I really had trouble with this tea a lot. I put lively and brisk. I don't think that's wang. Let me just say wang. The very first sip I took had a horrible wang to this. In fact, the sip I just took of this second set, the first one on the second set, has a horrible wang. It just, and I don't think a wang is considered astringent. Astringent is more of a drying feel in a mouth. But for astringency, the lowest category for astringency is smooth, and the wang did not allow me to call this smooth. No. So I just gave it a lively brisk. I don't know. And it was like hubby and I were drinking from a different liquid. He never tasted the wang, and we kept talking about it as we were tasting. And then I said, well, here, you must be tasting a different one, even though we poured it from the same serving pitcher. It was like he was drinking a different tea. And so I gave him my cup, and he tasted it, and he made a horrible face. So I don't know what the deal is with that. I really, really don't. I just don't. That's just... So I did steep it 3 times, and the second steep, the wang did go away, so I lowered the astringency to bright and light. I still don't know if that's correct. It may have no astringency. And I don't know. So the first steep, here we go again, had a wang to it, a sourness that is unpleasant on the back of my tongue. The package says that it's sweet, tart, bright, and invigorating. Well, I would say tart is what I get. If the tart is enjoyed by somebody, I suppose it would wake you up and alert you, and that would be invigorating. So I guess that would be correct. So their labeling is correct, I guess. But I don't like tart things, however, at least not without sugar to counterbalance it. Second steep is still sour, but the wang was gone. And all I get is tart, and it's tolerable. I suppose cranberries are tart, though, so give you credit. It's on target. And I can only eat cranberries very well when they're sweetened. I'm not a fan of clover, turmeric, or ginger either. Usually shy away from buying teas with these ingredients. In fact, I don't even have clove in my spice drawer, but I do have some ginger and some turmeric. But I do like cinnamon and berry flavors and lemongrass, but I don't get any of those out of this to same. This third steep, we said, let's add some sugar. I have some natural sugar that I hardly ever put in anything anymore. And it was okay with sugar. However, I'm trying not to use sugar in my diet, so that's a strike against this tea. I want herbal teas that I can drink without being encouraged to add sugar to my diet. The finish on the first one, that wang just goes on after I swallow in the back of my tongue. But the second steep, it was more evaporating and quick. So my rating, I'm sorry, I wanted to rate it higher. Only 2 hearts. It was so pretty. I want a pretty tea that I really like. But cranberry would be a good holiday drink, but I suppose I'm not a fan of cranberry except at Christmas tables sweetened a lot. I'll have cranberry. I don't really like those little cranberries in the jar, but real cranberries in a pot with lots of sugar until they pop. That's okay. I will enjoy it for Christmas once a year. But I don't really enjoy this tea. I'm sorry. I just swallowed it. That was about it. There's some more photos. Maybe you like cranberries. Maybe you'll love this tea.